Hey, what's up guys? I recently watched the season 3 of Black Mirror and it was a mixed bag. But for now, let's roll into the review of Black Mirror season 3. Episode 1. So I just watched episode 1 of Black Mirror season 3 and it was shit. I was highly disappointed with this episode since I had heard great things about this season. I was honestly thinking of dropping this season due to the first episode, but it was an anthology series, so I looked up for the name of directors and it all made sense now. The first episode was directed by the same director who made Pan. Everything in this episode was utter shit, to unlikable characters to bad looking CGI, and most of all, the writing of this episode. There was not one great moment in the entire episode. The character didn't feel like human, they always felt like a character, meaning that they didn't bring any emotional connection with the audiences. Episode 2. After finishing the first episode, I really didn't know what to expect from episode 2, as it was directed by Dan Trachtenberg, whose movie 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I really liked and was very entertaining, but most of the issues with the first episode was due to the writing. But to my surprise, the episode was a lot of fun to watch and I was really glad that I didn't drop the series, and it really reminded me of Don't Breathe, where the plot was nothing great but the director made everything enjoyable by creating tension and making the audience engage with the episode. I am not saying that it's better than Don't Breathe, since the episode does have a slow start for characterization, but we end up really don't caring much. Still, at least they tried and came close. Also, the episode does have some stupid elements which was important to the story and that really bothered me for a little while and broke the immersion for me. But all in all, it's an episode that you should watch if you have an hour, since it does more than enough for you to enjoy. Episode 3. So I watched episode 3 and it was enjoyable and was definitely better than the first episode, but not as good as the second episode since the concept felt way too similar. The show picks up way faster than the second episode since it only takes a few minutes to get started. The show starts off fairly average but picks itself off along the way, as the ending felt like a proper ending to the episode. The show does had one stupid element and some very good things too. I'm going to talk about spoilers now, so watch it and then come back. The episode had two great yet simple things that I like. First one, the wait for the car after the bank robbery, as we for some split second thought that he might have left him, and I was really confused just like the main character, and I thought it was a great moment of pause. And the other moment that I really liked was the car swipe scene, as the character was not able to perform a simple task and we instantly thought of the hacker, and it really showed on how much the character is going through just to perform a simple task. And for the thing that I didn't like was that there was no security during the robbery scene. And for a little bit of grey area for me is how the director showed text on the phone except for showing it on the screen, as showing it on the screen would have made the episode a lot better since it provides a feels of urgency and creates immersion with providing a cinematic feel. Episode 4. After the episode 2nd and 3rd, I was expecting something new and fun, but after watching this episode it was something like, what the hell? But I still watched it in order that something will happen, but I was wrong, as the concept of relationship between two girls was outdated and most of all boring. The director was trying his very hard to make this episode better than the previous ones, but he was not able to do that. The good thing I liked about it was the chemistry between the actors was up to the mark, which is very important in that type of role. On the whole, this episode was forgettable, and the concept of storing memories of the respective actors was a little bit over-exaggerated. Watch it if you are not able to sleep, since it's very slow and you wish that you cared for the characters. Episode 5. The episode 5 for me was not all that great. The concept is good and is enjoyable to watch. My problem with this episode was that it was predictable but engaging for me, and the ending was not all that great. I will recommend to watch it as it is entertaining to watch, but it's not as good as the second episode, but is still worth watching, and the twist in the episode can be surprising for some of the people. I will recommend to watch it, but don't go in with high expectation. The characters were fine in this episode. No character was standout, but they did their job and that was fine. The camera work is also serviceable and was pretty average. Recommendation: watch it, but don't expect too much from this episode. Episode 6. I had quite an expectations from the last episode of Black Mirror, and also it was 30 minutes longer than the previous ones. This episode was solid and is definitely watchable. The problem that I had with this episode is the villain, since he seemed like a bit overpowered during the later part of the episode and we really didn't even knew much about him, but the main leads, Karen Park and Blue, had good chemistry which felt realish. The side characters were really not that interesting. The camera work was fine and was certainly better than some episodes in this season. The ending was not all that great, it didn't felt like a proper ending. All in all, it was a watchable episode with a couple of issues. Did I wanted a better final episode? Yes, but it's still worth watching. Now with the overview. All in all, season 3 of Black Mirror had a few good moments and some issues along the way. The show started off with a horrible start but picked off very quickly with episode 2. The show is worth your time if you already have a Netflix subscription and is definitely not among the Netflix's best like Daredevil or Stranger Things. It's not worth buying a subscription, but it's worth watching if you already have it. If you enjoyed this video, then give this video a thumbs up and do care to subscribe if you wanna watch more videos like this. See you guys in the next video. Peace.